Do you like your life sweet or bitter, flat or fizzy? These are the questions that keep me lying awake at night. I'm not even trying to make a cold opening. That's literally something that I very often find myself thinking about. Welcome to the Rider Time podcast here on the Morphin Network, and we are here to discuss none other than Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 22. The truth is bittersweet. And yes, this is where we tie in the lyrics of the show. Yeah, and yeah. We get continuation of this whole evil Shoma thing. And yeah, this dark Shoma is really tough. He's got that whole Coca-Cola thing going on for him. And yeah, he's got the power of the bubbles. Some people might be wondering, why is soda called a soft drink? Because given the fact that it has an effervescent texture, you'd think, shouldn't it be called like a fizzy drink like they do in the UK? Shouldn't it be called prickly drink? Why is it called soft? Well, the interesting thing about it is it's in the 1920s, the name came about to separate it from the term hard drink. So any beverage that contained alcohol would be a hard drink. Any beverage that didn't contain alcohol was considered a soft drink. That's the basics of it. But the truth of the matter is, soft drinks has been around since before the age of the Tudors. It was mainly the use of carbonate wasn't actually used until later, but basically you basically create an emulsified syrup typically using sugar or fruit or a combination of the two, and then you mix it with water to make it more aqueous. But the specific use of fizz didn't come out until much later. In the 1500s, with the Tudors, they used cream of tartar in order to make a lemon-based beverage, but that still wasn't quite fizzy. But later on, in the 18th century, in the 1700s, some scientists have been able to figure out ways of mixing carbonate gas, CO2, into water. Hence carbonated water. Now the term soda does come from sodium carbonate, which is not actually the same chemical used in drinking soda. But the thing is, because both chemicals contain carbon and oxygen, they're both considered carbonates. Why is it still called soda? I don't understand. It doesn't actually have any sodium in it, but nevertheless, it became very popular. Then in the early 19th century, it's been popularized for commercial use, and afterwards they started using phosphoric acid to use carbonated water as a medical drink. That's right. The commercial soda we know today used to have medical applications. For one, Coca-Cola. Well, there's a reason it's called Coke. Pepsi. There's a reason it's called Pepsi. It contained pepsine, which is the same active ingredient in Pepto-Bismol. Guess what Pepsi's used for back then? Dr. Pepper was made to put a pep in your step. And yeah, it would have they would usually have an orangey or lemony base using the phosphoric acid, and then once they combine it with their soda syrup, they mix it with carbonated water in order to make it palatable. But eventually they started taking out the medical ingredients, mostly because medical ingredients were mostly snake oil. And basically, it started having commercial applications in the 20th century. Moving onward, many brands became popularized, and we started experimenting with different flavorings, kind of going back to basics of like the original soft beverage, but combining it with the more contemporary use of carbonate as an effervescent texture modification. Combining that, we got beverages like Fanta, Sunkist, Squirt, Sprite, 7 Up. A lot of sodas with an S sound, isn't there? But but me personally, nothing beats a nice cold carbonated water that's just carbonated water. Maybe a hint of lime, but but that carbonate texture, the effervescence is so addicting. So good. But, Vlam was there in the fight to stop it. And of course, he uses his jelly form to stop his heart, stop the fight, just like how Vlam would normally do it. And believe it or not, he did manage to stop the fight, and he has like a serious rebuking on Hanto. He's like, "You're a Granude. Why are you helping me?" "Well, you said you wanted to kill Granudes. Why didn't you finish the job with Shoma?" Ooh, cold. Meanwhile, Shoma wakes up in Uncle Dente's cave, and it's revealed that, I found you lying on the ground, and I pulled you back here. Wait, you went out into the human world? Yup. How? I put on this disguise. What disguise? You see, I cannot turn myself into a human disguise. So I put on, a hat, a face mask, and pretended I had the coof. No, that's too soon. That's too soon. But it worked. Fair is fair. But I have a better question. Why was I passed out, though? Well, you see, you had a macaron stuck in your mouth. I did? Yeah, your other mouth. Oh. Wait, that's how I passed out? Yep. But there's someone else who looks like you who's wreaking havoc in the city. What? Hanto ousted me? What? That's not cool. But more importantly, how could I beat someone up? I have no memory of this. You shouldn't. You passed out on the middle of the street because you had a goat cheese stuck in your Gavv. Yeah, turns out the evil Shoma wasn't really Shoma. Gee, color me surprised. Maybe if they did not reveal that in the trailer for this episode, it would have been a little bit more of a shock to us. Meanwhile, when Hanto comes back to Sachika's place, she gives him a stern talking to. She just kicks him out to the curb. Oh my God, girl's got legs, and let me tell you, and like she rightfully rebukes. It's like I don't care if Shoma's Granude. Like I believe in the Shoma that I know, the Shoma that worked his butt off trying to make people happy, who decided to get a job working in my company, the one who put his blood, sweat, and tears into making that Christmas cake for me. And you believe some fabricated AI deepfake? But more importantly, you outed Shoma. Even if he's a Granude, it's not for you to oust him. He needs to come out on his own time. I'm like, oh my God. Sachika's being an ally. Is this another example of Japan making a nuanced and based allegory to American politics? I don't know, but it still works. It still works because no, it's true. Like even if it wasn't made with the intent of being an allegory to the LGBT community, which let's be honest, Shoma and Hanto do kind of have those Moi Moi and Sonoi vibes. Let's be honest. The fact the phrasing they used it's like no, it's a real thing. Like I like here in America, it's like yeah, like people there are people in the LGBT community, and yes, a lot of them are members of the Tokusatsu community, and represent. And even though the world is more accepting of people with their sexual orientations and gender identities, you can't just out another person. They have to come out on their own at their own pace in circumstances they feel most comfortable with. It's kind of an interesting coincidence that I'm watching Gossip Girl right now, because there was an episode in season 1 where Eric was forced to out himself as gay in order to protect Jenna from dating this jerk face that Eric happens to be already dating. And it's like, turns out it's like quid pro quo type of relationship. And god damn it, Jenna's such a mess of a character, I swear. It's like you want to root for her, but she's always making these destructive decisions. And yeah, Eric, I have a lot of respect for his character. It sucks that he had to out himself the way he did to, his schoolmates. But what's even worse is how someone else outed Eric to his mom. Oh, that's right. It was Georgina. Yeah, that's right. God damn it, Georgina. I really can't stand you. I don't care if you're played by Michelle Trachtenberg. I may have had a crush on Michelle at one point, but the character you played is such a jerk. Look, I've always had a thing for Winona Ryder, but I draw the line at Abigail Williams. That word I will not say out loud on this podcast. Belongs in the Boston streets. And that's exactly what she did in the epilogue. But I digress. But yeah, good allegory. Good allegory. Even if not intentional, it's still a good allegory. And of course, Sachika calls Shoma, and Shoma calls her back. It's like, oh, he actually answers the phone, and Sachika's like, Shoma, I'm really concerned about you. There's a guy who looks like you who's a total jerk, and I know is definitely not actually you. You better be careful because people are coming after you with pitchforks. And yeah, good on her. I love Sachika. She's such a respectable character. She is such a goated person, man. We all need a Sachika in our lives, Like you're thinking, oh, she's just like a peppy, like it girl, like trying to like do the whole K-pop look with the blonde hair, but no, she doesn't just have the look; she has the moves. Like everyone needs, whether romantically or as a platonic friend, we all need a Sachika in our lives. She is the GOAT. Meanwhile, evil Shoma attacks a truck and eats a bunch of bittersweets inside the truck. And I assume that the driver is either dead or injured. And of course, a crowd of people shows up to witness the crime scene, and among them is real Shoma, because of course, person falsely convicted always returns to the scene of the crime, even though they were never at the scene of the crime to begin with. And of course, Hanto's there's just like, listen, Shoma, I need you to explain everything. And I'm like, god damn it, finally, Hanto is actually going to listen. I'm glad it only took us 2 episodes and not a whole season. Because let me tell you, one of the biggest flaws in Fies is lack of communication. We can make so many memes about this. But here, people talk things out within 2 episodes. So that explains everything. Oh yeah, my mom was human. She was kidnapped by the Stomach family to become Dark Candy. But the patriarch of the Stomach family fell in love with her, made a human baby. That was me. I'm half granite. And unlike the other members of Stomach who need one of those devices to disguise themselves as human, I do not have an actual granite form. I'm stuck as a human. This red Gavv I am wearing is part of my body. You mean it's not a belt? Do you not see the lack of belt straps? It's literally surgically attached to my body like it's freaking human centipede. Anywho, but yeah, so it's like, oh man, Shoma, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that once your dad died, your family members killed your mom and tried to kill you along with her. Man, I totally get why you would not tell me about your true identity. I've been going off about kill all Granutes, kill all Granutes, kill all Granutes. I didn't realize that I was unintentionally trying to kill you too. But, I recognize you've been helping me out every step of the way. You saved my life a bunch of times, and I can't believe I completely forgot that. Damn Skippy forgot that, and I will resent you for it. But, oh yeah, and also, Vlam also pays a visit to Nyelv. I'm curious, how does he know that? No, he doesn't visit Nyelv, he visits Suga. I'm like, how does Vlam know about Suga? I mean, I know he used to work for Nyelv, and part of the issue is that he can't reach Nyelv, but how do you know who Suga is and where to find him? And of course, it's like, okay, listen to me, Suga. Who are you, really? Because you're very suspicious. I don't trust you. And Suga's like, oh, I'm just a scientist. I like to collect data on things that intrigue me. And Granutes intrigue me. That's as simple as it is. And, it's here where I figure out that Dark Shoma is probably a clone created by Suga, because remember, he pulled a strand of his hair at one point. At first I was thinking, what if, I was thinking too isolationist. I was thinking that he was going to use that hair to create some kind of upgrade for Valen, because most of his research focuses on Valen. And I thought Dark Shoma was probably either a split personality or an asexually reproduced offspring. But it didn't cross my mind that strand would become that clone. I thought it would be too easy of a concept that I completely brushed it off. Now I'm more suspicious about this. Don't you hate it that you're so focused on cubes, you don't stop to think about the squares that make up the cube? That's me right now. I feel silly. I can't believe I ignored the squares of a cube because I was too focused on the cube itself. Ain't life a thing? Meanwhile, Dark Shoma goes into a packaging facility and tries to eat a bunch of other sweets, and of course he makes a bunch of gochizos of his own. And I noticed some of them are dark chocolate. Oh, bitter, dark. Makes sense. So Shoma and Hanto do show up. They transform together. Yes, they're working together. They're actually working together to fight Bitter Gavv. And yes, he actually refers to himself as Bitter Gavv at this point. He doesn't call himself Bitter Shoma or Dark Shoma. He calls himself Bitter Gavv. And the thing is, yeah, they have a cool sword fight, and of course, they And of course, they even use the donut form, which is really cool because one, we haven't seen the donut form in a while, and they're hopping around all those levitating donuts. And there's a point where Showman is Cake King form, like stuffs one of the donuts with his cream filling to cause it to explode in his face. But of course, Bitter Gavv, like he takes one of Shoma's Gochizos to power up his weapon, and then he takes one of his Dark Gochizos to use his finishing move. So naturally, Valen tries to use his finishing move while Gavv switches to Candy Cannon mode, and like uses the giant Gatling gun. And the thing is, it's like, isn't Caking stronger though? Maybe not, but hey, utilitarian use. There may be times when where the hard candy Vulcan might be more valuable than Cake King. But in the impact of their finishing moves colliding, Bitter Gump disappears while Shoma like flies off the side of a rail, and Hanto barely catches him. While he's trying to pull him up, Shoma develops memories of Hanto's mom, one of which involves her trying to grab him by the arm, and then her falling into a body of water. And that's where the episode ends. So, this is interesting. This is where we verbally affirm that Shoma has definitely met Hanto's mom. And what could this mean for both Shoma and Hanto? Did Hanto's mom run away, try to escape with Shoma? Was she the reason why he was able to escape? Now, I don't think that's the reason because we know that in the flashback, Shoma was still a kid, and his mom died when he was already a teenager. So whatever happened to Hanto's mom, it happened way before Shoma's mom died. I'm curious where this plays out. Choreography in this episode is pretty good. Like I really liked it. It wasn't as spectacular as the last episode, but I did appreciate the return of the donut form and them using the donut platforms as part of the choreography. Other than that, there's really not much to say about it because I think with Dark Shoma, the only thing he's got going for him is the whole spitting out the sword thing from out of his abdomen. It's like, it's cool the first time you see it. It's not as fun in subsequent instances. But with that in mind, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Personally, I give it 8.9. Actually, I changed my mind. 9.2 because I want to give the extra 0.3 points because of Sachika being the GOAT! Sachika! Let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Good for Sachika for being a true ally. Absolutely. We finally get to see donuts again. Hell yeah! Another data collector here for the sake of collecting data. I know. It's like Dr. Ryoma Waring. I hate that guy. It's like, I'm here to collect data for the sake of collecting data. And I know that there's like other Kamen Rider villains who do that too, and it irritates me. It's like, I'm just here to collect data. I hate those type of characters. See, at least when Mayuri does it, he does it with purpose. And I will glaze the hell out of Mayuri from Bleach. And I'm not even a Bleach fan. Much. I might have been more of at one point. Not as much recently, but it's because my palate just changed over time. Can't believe Boom Boom just said, I know, tomorrow will be our finale. A lot of exposition. Yes, but at least we're getting some answers. And we're not waiting a whole story arc just to have a 5-minute conversation we could have had a long time ago. But we got Disguised Dente for the win. No, for real. That is also fantastic. That was really funny. I love that scene. I want to see more Disguised Dente. Oh man, can you imagine if he does that in broad daylight and like no one bats an eye? Huge crowd of people see Dente in his disguise and no one bats an eye. Yeah. No, like can't see this, because of the face mask and the hat and the scarf. All right. That is it for the comments. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos. And be sure to share the videos because it helps us out with the algorithm. Finally met our 2.75K goal, which means either this weekend or the following weekend, we will be discussing none other than The Last Ranger parody film 7 on Tubi TV. Yep, we promised that goal to you guys. We are following through on that goal for you. We are doing it. And of course, be sure to check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show. And if you want to follow my personal content, you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto. And with all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated. Update your emergency kits, hug your loved ones, and we will see you again real soon. Goodbye.